What is going on, everyone? Hey, thank you again for being here on another Wednesday. I have the pleasure of doing this every week, of seeing everyone in the chat, and just talking about the stuff that we love, stuff that I have a passion for, and I could not be more grateful for that opportunity. So let's get right into it. First off, I it's spooky season. So Ken, what's going on, man? Always a pleasure to see you here. And then it also looks like we have Battle 66 Delta. What's going on, brother? Great to see you here as well. Thank you guys both for stopping by. Um, let's see. So yeah, I was going to say spooky season is upon us. So I figured I would kind of decorate the place with just a little bit of something, just to kind of spice it up and get into the season. Maybe I'll do the same thing for Thanksgiving and Christmas and all that. But hey, collect them all. What's going on, man? Thank you so much for stopping by. And yeah, I love seeing you guys coming in here into the chat and really getting some eyes on the channel. So I really do appreciate it. Um, it's funny because I excuse me. I never try and really promote the channel in ways of like, when I come on, I don't try and really go, hey, subscribe and hit the like button and hit the notification bell and share with your friends, blah blah. I think that I hope that the creative portion and the creative part of these videos and of what I do here kind of speaks for itself. But I have to realize that that is part of YouTube. That is part of this process, is asking others to subscribe and like and share. So if you guys do enjoy what I do here, it would mean a whole lot to me if you guys did that. Like I said, I try not to ask that too much because I know every other channel is doing that. Zax, hello, what's up, man? Hey, we are going to talk soon because I look forward to seeing you guys Friday. So we'll connect and we will make sure that we make that happen. I cannot wait to hang out with you and the guys, and that will be an incredible live stream. So, but yeah, so like I was saying, if you guys like what I do here, please consider subscribing, sharing, just getting the word out. Yes, exactly. Smash, hit, like, share, all of the above, man. But and on that same kind of note, on that same type of topic, if you don't like something that I do, or if there's something that you guys think that I could improve on, or even something that I could bring to the table that maybe other comic book channels don't, because one thing that YouTube has in abundance is comic book channels, whether it's like collectibles or whether it's like CGC slabs or finding raw like keys in the open at comic shops and stuff. And so or just like comic book reviews. There's just a plethora of different channels, and each one has its own like unique kind of little nature to it. And I want to kind of get your feedback as fans of the channel, as people who watch this. What would you guys like to see, or what do you think that I might be able to bring to the table that might be a little bit different, or maybe have its own little twist on it? I really like. I think production value and high quality product, and like a creative editorial outlet is something that I really enjoy doing, and something that I really enjoy producing. So if oh, perfect. Okay, so the interview with McKenna was dope. More guests, maybe. I'm missing the chill hop though. Can I have the chill hop on deck? So don't you worry about that. But thank you. Yeah, the interview with McKenna was incredible. She is fantastic, and I look to hopefully do that more often with her, because she is such a strong voice and such an intellectual person. And her opinions, her thoughts, and just her mindset on a lot of this stuff, even just kind of as a normie to comic books and pop culture, is something that's really cool and very refreshing to have on the channel. So absolutely, Ken, I will bring her back. And then, yeah, maybe more guests, and see if I can grab some other people to hop on here and talk with me about this stuff as well. And yes, the chill hop will be coming back soon. Um, so from we covered the new decorations. It's spooky season. We covered sharing the channel and subscribing and all that good stuff, and hearing what you guys have to say about the channel and what you guys would prefer to see. Zach says you're growing quickly. Oh, thank you. The interview was great, and you let the conversation be organic. That's the thing, man. I think really to be genuine, to be authentic, to bring that level of authenticity to fans, to viewers, to whoever. I think that's what they really want to see. So I appreciate you saying that. The conversation is extremely organic with McKenna and I. We could talk for hours, but we have to cut it short every now and then because you can't do a 4 hour. You can't really have too many watch hours on a 4 hour stream because people are going to hop off after the first 10 minutes. So yeah, I appreciate you saying that though. So I think the organic nature of that is something that I would love to bring more to this platform, because too many times you see people just putting on a face, or kind of just putting on a facade, and it doesn't really come off as very genuine and authentic. And I know, at least with my experience, people can sense that, and they turn it off, and they get rid of it, because it's like, I don't feel like I'm watching an actual person. I feel like I'm watching a caricature of something. So yeah, we covered all that. And hey, thank you so much for stopping by. Simple solution, more interviews with them. I personally love the short little ditties you've done, because they are perfect for listening to the car. Excellent. Thank you, Margie. For those of you who don't know the wonderful Katie Margie McClure, she is the Olympic weightlifter that I had on and did an interview with about a month ago. So she is doing some incredible, really exciting things over in her neck of the woods, and I should consider having her back on here for maybe another interview or comic book review, or maybe some articles that we could go over. But thank you for stopping by, Margie. Always sending my love to you and the family. Let's see. Okay, so yeah, you've done, because they're perfect for listening to in the car. So when you mean like the short videos, like anything under 5 minutes, anything under 10 minutes, because you can also uh peek behind the curtain, or I guess, like, a little life hack: 2 times speed that, and boom, you've got a 5 minute video, or a 10 minute video turned into 5 minutes. So that's what I normally have to do if it's a really long podcast or something. I just do 2 times speed, and boom, it's fantastic for a car ride. But so yeah, now that we've covered that, and once again, thank you again for showing up, Margie. um I want to kind of David, what's going on, man? Great to see you here. Semper Fidelis, my man. Semper Fidelis. Open question night. Local comic artist interviews other collectors and why they collect. Oh, I like that. No, that's fantastic, Ken. That would be great. Local comic artist interviews other collectors and why they collect. That is really something that the other collectors and why they collect, at least for me. Oh, what's up, Frank? Thank you for stopping by, as always. Hey, no, you're never late. A wizard arrives precisely when he means to. So thank you for for being here. Um, David says, "Oh, 7." Uh, so yeah, the Ken, for the other collectors and why they collect. I really really like that idea, because it really brings into the fold of, like, this is, the video that I did a couple weeks back. This is why we care. This is why we put so much effort and money and passion and love into these things, because they mean something to us, and each one of us has a different story. And I think that would be really cool to kind of hear what everyone else has to say about that. So thank you for those recommendations. Yeah, if you guys have any other recommendations, feel free to leave them in the comments or in the chat, and I will get to them all. Collect them all says, I like that idea too. Other collectors and why they collect. Love it, man. Yeah, that would be fantastic. All right. I'm writing it down. I got it on my little notepad here. We'll do it. So before I get into more comics that I picked up today, we we got to have a serious talk about Penguin Random House right now. So if you are a comic book collector, let me go ahead and share the screen here. But if you are a comic book collector, um, or even just know anything about the comic book distribution, you know that Marvel, about, I want to say last year or a few months back, decided that they were going to distribute. Oh my God. Dude, don't even get me started, right? The interview with Margie was one of the first things of yours I watched. Oh, right. Yeah, thanks, Zax. I think those interviews, like interviews with Margie, interviews with McKenna, even when I had Steph on here, my nerdy home, and we did that comic book review. I love having people on here to get their views on things. McKenna, get your notes out. Seriously, I'm not kidding. This next story. So before I get to comics, McKenna, we're gonna go over this distribution issue that's going on, right? It is a crisis. It is like code red, level 10 crisis right now. Um, Modern comic books are already in kind of a, let's see. Frank says, "So glad I have yet to sign up for them and have started with Diamond." Yep, even though I took a bit of a hit on my shop. So, for those of you who don't know, Coffee and a Comic, Frank is a comic book, well, not a distributor, but a seller. So Coffee and a Comic is his store, and so he knows all about distribution and selling and buying comic books to distribute to the public, and is looking to have a local comic shop here in Southern California within the next year. So distribution right now is iffy. Diamond is the primary for most comic book publishers right now. So when I say, let's see, let me go ahead and start scrolling down so you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about. So when you have these comic shops and when you have all these different sellers, you have to actually buy from the distributor, just like a bookstore. A Barnes and Noble has to buy from Penguin Random House, which is a book distributor, and Penguin Random House sends the books in. Barnes and Noble puts them up on the shelf, and they get their profit or whatever. So Marvel, about a few months back or last year, I forget when, and I'd have to read more of the article, but um, Marvel decided to leave Diamond, which is the main distributor of all of Marvel comics, which is huge because Marvel and DC are the two main, comic book publishers right now that most people try and go see. Um, Frank says Diamond is most indie, Marvel, Lunar is DC, and Scout Black Hairband. Yep. So those are all different publishers and different distributors, but um, so where was I? So Marvel leaves Diamond and they say, you know what? Diamond has given us so much grief. They keep sending us comics that are damaged. The boxes always come back destroyed. We're losing money on these comic books, and so we can't, as as a company, we can't take that hit anymore on that profit margin. So they leave Diamond and they go with Penguin Random House, which has never distributed comics before ever. So Penguin Random House begins to distribute their comics this week. This week was the first week that Penguin had to ship their comic books and go. We are the new publishers in this market, or the new distributors in this market. We're going to bring good quality. We're going to bring fast shipping. We're going to do all this stuff. So this week, Penguin Random House ships out all their comics to all of the different comic shops. They distribute all their stuff. Every comic shop that I have spoken to or that I've heard of or that I've read has come back with no less then 25 to 30% of their comic book orders damaged. Now, when I say damaged, I mean irreversibly, they cannot sell that product. They cannot put that comic book up onto the shelf and have someone purchase it because it is that badly damaged. So one instance, I think it was 616 Comics said that they had 66% of their comic books. So that's two out of every three comic books, like damaged bad, whether that was ripped, whether that was folded, whether that was water damage, whatever it was. And then we see in this article that some of these shipments didn't even get to their local comic shops. The like Penguin Random House as a distributor didn't even get some of these to the shop themselves. So some were lost in translation or whatever. Some were damaged. Some were just, uh, didn't even get sent out, or the order had to be canceled. So on Penguin Random House's first week, their first go around, they done effed up. They done effed up. You had one job, Penguin Random House, and that was to distribute comic books in a safe and productive way. Let's see what Frank has to say. So, in the new market of comics, we feel like we cannot sell these books because the buyer now wants that near mint book. That would have been fine back in the 80s and 90s. And you're right, absolutely. David says, WTF, probably blame it on the supply chain. Yeah, so, and that's the thing is like, some distributors send through FedEx, others send through UPS. But regardless, you have to, as a distributor, so I sell comics on the side as well. I collect them, but I'm selling some of my collection as kind of a side hustle. And when I do that, I know that I can't trust the UPS or USPS or FedEx or whoever it is. I can't trust what they're going to, how they're going to handle those comic books. So I have to, as the seller, put that into translation and say, all right, well, then I'm just going to wrap this thing full of bubble wrap. I'm going to put it in a good container. I'm not going to put it in just some random envelope. I'm going to put it between two things of cardboard, so all that stuff has to be put into thought. And Penguin Random House didn't seem like they thought about it whatsoever, or they thought that they could just get away with it. And that's the thing, is that I'm wondering is, does Penguin Random House think that they are just being cheaper here? Do they think that they are just, by not utilizing any packing materials, by utilizing just regular boxes that they would ship just any normal book in? Do they think that they are saving money by doing this? Or were they just lazy? Or is it their own hubris and they don't actually know that comic books have to be sent in a somewhat near mint fashion, like Frank was saying? Because in modern books right now, if you get anything less than a 9.8, a lot of a 9.8, I should explain, is a particular comic book grade. So if a book doesn't come back mint or near mint or any one of those variations, comic book collectors now and speculators and all this stuff, they don't want it because it's not going to bring them any money. Even if it's a comic book that has just a few little ticks in it, or a few little spine ticks, or maybe a bent corner here, or whatever it is, maybe a color rub on the cover, they don't want it. They're not going to pay for it because they want to try and find a way to sell that on the secondary market or have it graded and then send it off and, for speculation or whatever. Let's see. So Frank says Lunar is the best at shipping comics. 100%. We have actually seen photos, and I've been to my local comic shop and seen when they open it how Lunar distributes their comics. It is a box, then bubble wrap, then another box, then more bubble wrap. It's like perfect. No rubbing on the edges, any of that stuff. Collect them all. You would think if this was their first time distributing comics, they would have made a great first impression and took extra precautions. Exactly. So you would think, and that's where that's where my brain kind of gets lost, is because I think, okay, if I'm Penguin Random House, I need to try and think about the comic book industry. I need to do my research on how comics have been distributed in the past, how I can better that, how can I make that improved upon, all this stuff. Those these are all things that I need to think about as a corporation or as a businessman, not just as a comic book collector, but how am I going to outdo my competition? And their competition, Diamond, is actually looking good now because Diamond, even though they have given really terrible shipments in the past where there have been damages or there have been losses, they still have never had a week like this where every comic shop has sent back 25 to 30% or more. 25 to 30% was the least that I had heard. Um, and that's pretty, I mean, that's like taking a 25% reduction on your income. Like that cannot happen. Let's see. David says maybe this was their best attempt. Yeah, man, if this is their best attempt, I couldn't that would be brutal. I think they just assumed that these comics as kids stuff and didn't realize that the buyers are serious about quality. I don't think they really knew. And so, Frank, and if that's the case, if it is more so of a, um, David says you can hear McKenna writing notes. I can actually, yeah, I can hear the scribbling. It's very loud, but that's good. Uh, Frank says they know now, guarantee they're going to change how they ship. Are they going to get another chance though? And that brings me to the next thing, and kind of what I was talking about earlier, Frank, is like if they didn't know, let's say that they, like I said, their own hubris, they're just kind of unaware. So they just go, you know what, that was on us. We had no idea how much these comic books meant to people and their qualities and how that mint factor plays into how you sell these comics. That's on us. We are so sorry. The next one, we are going to make sure it's packaged well, all this stuff, blah, blah. Are they going to get a second chance? So even if they did make this mistake this time, I know a lot of comic shops are saying, sorry, we're not ordering from you again. You guys had months to plan for this. They have been hyping this up this whole time. Marvel's going to Penguin Random House. They're not distributing from Diamond anymore. Here we go. This is going to be the next new thing. How are we going to get modern comic books distributed? And then we get an average of 50 to 60% damages on all comic books across the US. It's brutal. Um, Zach says they can't just stop sinking themselves with these decisions. Yeah. David, back when I collected, I always went through the copies to avoid any damage. You mean normal business practices to achieve competitive advantage? Nah, too woke for that. I don't know. Yeah. McKenna, was I kidding when I said you're gonna want to take notes on this one? It's an interesting topic. Um, so Frank says, I think it was a failure on the part of Penguin, but also Marvel for not making this clear. I don't know. That's a good point because did Penguin and Marvel ever talk to each other and say, this is how we need these books shipped? Or did Penguin and Marvel talk to each other and say, listen, like, hey, you know, we need these books like as cheap as possible. Like whether they're damaged or not, it doesn't matter. We just need them cheap and just shipped. That's just take care of it. All right. Like what was their what were they thinking? Um let's see. Definitely on Marvel as well for not establishing. Yeah, I mean it definitely could be there's always two sides of the story, and so it's never going to be a perfect divide of it was this person's fault or this person's fault. Maybe Diamond is a supervillain. This was their plan. I don't know, man. There are conspiracy theories, and I will get to that in just a second. Collect them all. I would love to hear from the consumers and see if they would give them a second chance. I would like to hear from that too, but from the consumers, you're going to get such a wide variety. You're not just going to get, your normal comic book collector, who's just there to read it. You might get speculators, you might get actual, like, just straight up collectors who want it for their own collection to hang up on their wall. You're going to get kids, You're gonna get normies who are just looking for a book to buy. So it really would be it would be across the board to kind of go, what do you think? How does this affect you? Everyone's going to have a different opinion because, you know, the speculators are obviously going to say, get rid of him. Don't give him a second chance because I need that near mint book. Um, Frank, they will definitely get another chance, and certain big shops can't get hit with the discount. Going back to Diamond, um, and here's where the conspiracy theory comes in. Let me just verify real quick. Margins on the book can be high to begin with. Huge lack of common sense. Got a couple of video ideas. Oh, perfect. Thank you, Zax. Please do. I would be very, very interested to do a video on this because this is with modern comics already taking a huge hit just from the fact that no one's really buying them right now. We're seeing a very low margin in comic book sales. Um, oh, they're tired or they're tiered? High tech, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Has PRH made a statement? Do they even care? Seems to me they are treating it like a normal Damage magazine apology. So, PRH, Random House, has made a statement. I'm gonna put the article for the side for now, but they have made a statement. They essentially said that, well, I guess I shouldn't say a statement, but they have responded to these issues. And what they did say was that if if the comic has a bent corner, or if it has like a dog ear, or if it has spine ticks, it is still you are still able and obligated to sell that comic, and they are not taking it as damaged. So Penguin has responded to a lot of these retailers and is saying, you still have to sell that because we will not take it back as damaged, which is kind of slimy. Uh, eh, I don't know. My opinion is that's a little slimy. Because they're just outright saying, "No, we're not gonna." Yes, so normal magazine policy. I don't think they're taking into consideration the actual fact that comic books have a different value addressed to them based off of uh, their quality. You meant tier, okay. So yeah, sorry, David. I keep saying, "Here's the conspiracy theory. I'm Alex Jones." Yeah, no, I'm getting to it. I just want to make sure I'm getting everyone's comments here because it's such a like I don't know, polarizing thing for a lot of people, especially retailers, because retailers are in this place that's like, what do we do now? Um, yeah, so Frank says depends on how much a particular shop purchases on a quarter and all that stuff. So high tech, as far as statements go, they are essentially just saying that the people who packed these, if you want to get them fired, if you don't want to get them a salary, you will send back all those damaged books, which technically some of them could be 80-90% if we're going by true like diamond or lunar, what they consider to be damaged. It would be more like 80 to 90%. But because retailers still need some sort of profit, they're taking the hit at 50 to 60%. And just having to sell books that aren't that great of quality, which is, then the seller or the buyer goes, well, what the hell? Why am I buying this book? I thought this was damaged. And it's like, well, not according to the Penguin Random House. But yeah, Zach's definitely DM me. I think it would be a really cool video because I think this needs to be heard. Collect them all. Wow, who's going to buy a damaged book? They will be forced to sell it at a discount and lose money. Exactly. And the other thing, collect them all, is like, and I'm sure you know this as a comic book collector, but when you buy a book that week, like when I buy this came out this week. If they try to send this out next week, it might not be the same price. It might not be as hot. It might not be, especially like, okay, so we have Nice House on the Lake, right? James Tinian is hot right now. He's huge. He's writing DC, he's writing Image, he's writing all these different books. And, say one of them catches fire. One of them, not literally, but it becomes a hot speculative book. That next week, if the orders come back in for all those damaged books that had to be sent back to PRH and then sent back to the comic shop a week later, that comic book isn't going to hold its value. That week might be the only week that it's hot. And so that's another, really interesting thought process is Penguin Random House taking into consideration that these are time sensitive books, that the week that they come out might be the most important week for those books, especially like retailer incentive variants, uh, or incentive variants, retailer exclusive variants, all that kind of stuff. Let's see. So Frank says some customers that are not the collector will still buy a book that we may think is damaged. Exactly. So it's kind of that magazine policy, like you were saying. Some people will just buy it and won't even think about it. I actually do get people that will buy books from me at full price, even if it has a rip on the cover. Oh wow, that's interesting. See, I don't know if I'd do that though, because even when I like buy like a book, like a novel, I don't want it to be damaged. But it might be a way that hits the flippers on the community more than the retail shops. Yeah, yeah, this is going to be a big one for speculators and flippers. They are not too happy about that. So David, and so everyone's been going, well, what's the conspiracy theory? Are they going to get a second chance? How is it going to affect the market after this? Blah blah. So, yes, so yeah, comic book values fluctuate fast and often. So here's the theory. Diamond, or excuse me, Penguin Random House, PRH, they decided to tell Marvel that if you are going to buy from us, if you're going to distribute with us and utilize us, we need two FOC dates. So you have to utilize two of our FOC like weeks essentially. For those of you who don't know, FOC is final order cutoff. So final order cutoff is I want this book and it's going to come out next month. So I'm going to order it this month so that I know I will have that book in my hand. So it is a final order cutoff. Once that date and time ends, you can no longer order that book until it's out on the shelves. And then if it's back ordered or whatever, you have to wait. So final order cutoff is very important to a lot of retailers, a lot of speculators, all that stuff. So Penguin Random House decided to say to Marvel, if you're going to, yes, exactly. Final order cutoff. So they said to Marvel, if you were going to utilize final order cutoff with us, and if you were going to distribute from us solely from now on, we need you to do your first two like shipments with us upfront. So I don't know. So the theory is that Diamond or Penguin Random House knew the whole time. Same with Marvel, that they knew the whole time that this was going to be a disaster. That the comics were going to come in damaged, crappy, wouldn't be able to sell them. They were going to have all these damages, and so because of that, Penguin Random House kind of backed them into a corner and said, well, because of this, you have to stay with us for another week, even though knowing that we just sent out 60 to 70% of our books damaged. Frank says, I do wish people would put in more orders before FOC. Definitely makes it easier as a shop to make sure we have the books in stock. Yeah, yeah, FOC is huge. I think FOC should be published more often or should be more of a regular thing in comic shops because I think more people would be inclined to then see like look into the future as far as forecasting what's coming out. Um, but a lot of people don't, they just kind of go that day and go, "Oh, this kind of looks cool. This looks interesting," or they look at the cover and they go, "Yeah, I'll pick this up." So FOC really is only for people who I feel like really are invested in collecting their modern comics every week. David says, so it's a slap in the face because of a contractual obligation. Kind of that obligation that they said was like you have to have those two first weeks with us if you're going to distribute. They do have a pretty solid contract with Penguin. Not sure if any lawyer could get Marvel out of this contract based on this 1 week of disasters, right? I don't know how they're going to get out of this one, but FOC is my guarantee for that book I want. Exactly. Very important. If my copy came in damaged, that would suck for the seller and the buyer, hands down. Grinds my gears. It 100% does, man. And that's why, this kind of affects everyone. This affects from top down, it affects the distributor. Well, it affects the publisher, it affects Marvel because Already, Marvel has been taking a hit on their books. No one bought the X-Men gala. Correct me if I'm wrong, or I'm blanking on the event title, but the gala that they did that was essentially like just the red carpet. Um, David, my rebellion hat is it's over here somewhere. I do not have it, unfortunately. I'm sorry, but hey, McKenna's in the chat, so she's repping our rebellion merch. I'm sure. I'm sure. Um, so so it was kind of like a Met gala, I guess, for X-Men. And essentially what they were doing is like all these random weird covers and this kind of weird storyline where everyone's having a dinner and it's at this, yeah, whatever. So uh that was an X-Men event, and I don't think a lot of people really bought it. And so we already see a decline in those sales. So it hits the publisher at Marvel, and they're like, man, we're not really making that many sales on these books. Then they go to a different distributor thinking, maybe if we start incentivizing better covers, better quality, better shipments, if we go to a different distributor, maybe we'll get more sales. So they go to a different distributor. Sure enough, now they're making less. So now it's another hit. So then the distributor gets it to the shops, and now the local comic shops are upset at the distributor and the publisher saying, I can't sell these things. How do you expect me to make a living off of these books that are damaged? I can't do that. So now so now they're selling less books at the comic shops, and they're sending back damaged books. Then it gets to the seller. By the time it's gotten to the seller already is having a hard time deciding, should I pick up a modern book or should I pick up a back issue? Should I pick up a Silver Age or Bronze Age key, or collect a run of like Silver Age stuff, Bronze Age stuff, or should I buy a modern comic book that might be the same price as, you know, something that maybe, I don't know, has a better story, better artwork, whatever. Um, so it's just this uh, gradual decline that starts with, Marvel and well, right now I think it's more Marvel because Marvel's the only one utilizing Penguin Random House, I believe. And yeah, it's sad to see, because we're the modern comic book industry is already hurting, and to see this happen, it's like, man, where do we go from here? Like how do we come back from this one? When people are already hesitant to buy modern comic books at 5, 6, 7, $8. I think the latest Wonder Woman comic just came out and it was $8 or $10 or something. They're already hesitant to spend that kind of money, and then they have a book that's damaged, or they didn't even get the book because it was damaged, or because it got lost in transaction. Yeah, we're gonna see a lot of people leave the industry if they haven't already left. I know a lot of my friends are like, yeah, I'm out. I'm I don't need anything modern. I've got all my back issues, I've got all my trade paperbacks. I'm good. I don't need any modern stuff. So I don't know. It'll be really interesting. So, just to show you guys real quick, I'll make this a little bit larger. Uh, collect them all. Marvel, what if Marvel distributed their own comics? Hey, that's what Bad Idea is doing. Bad Idea distributing their own stuff. We had Pirate Queen this week, and we had The Lot #4 this week that came out, both distributed by Bad Idea. But yeah, that would be a great what if issue, or a what if series, right? So I will just kind of briefly go over this. The article basically states that's not a great start for Penguin Random House, is it? They talk about how one of the biggest retailers of direct market comic books was not even given their order. It was lost. The lost first Marvel comic shipment to DCBS, which is another huge retailer. So this means that not only is DCBS a customer of Penguin Random House Marvel Comics title, but it is a rival. So let's see. It looks like DCBS is going to be distributing as well at some point. But essentially, what I really wanted to show you guys was this, right? Meow. And I don't know if you can, like, whoo, ooh, man, that does not look good. Does not look good. Let's go back. Let's see another one. It hurts. It hurts my eyes. Don't look. If you I sensitive material, don't look. Oh my god, that's the spine. This is wait, yeah, this is the spot. Oh my lord. So, full disclosure, actually haven't seen these yet. Um, let's see. I haven't bought anything new in a long time. Hell, I haven't even opened the boxes in like 10 years. Wow. Except Bad Idea will be gone by the end of the year. Yeah. Well, Bad Idea will be gone by the end of the year. They'll come back as rebranded. So yeah, let's take a look more at these. This one just blows my mind, man. Oof. That that's like so this looks like it's the bottom of the box. I can see a little bit the cardboard here. Um, but like this is the it looks like this is the front of the front cover and this is the back. I honestly can't even tell because that is just smashed. And it looks like these are the staples on the spine, is what I'm assuming. Um yeah, I mean, if you can't determine what portion or what part of the comic book is the front or the back, or even just part of the interior artwork of the comic, you've got an issue with how that comic book was shipped. Oh, oh, God, it's this is funny. They sent out these in some of the boxes that showed like, hey, look how we're shipping all these books, we're packing all this stuff, look at how fun we're having. uh it says packing catalogs and new comic specific cartons. Hang on, wait. Packing catalogs in new comic specific cartons. So what you're telling me that Penguin Random House legit just said, "Hey, hey guys, boys, don't worry. These are specific, comic specific boxes. You're getting good quality from us. These are going to be chef's kiss for the comic books because they're just going to be putting comic specific cartons, dude. No way. That is wild. High tech. It's back issues in CG for me. Online comic shops and CG creators ship extremely well. Interesting. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, they had these boxes created for comics specifically. Dude, I'm not even. That's like a real reaction. That's so funny. Collect them all. Oh, that pirate queen from Bad Idea is good. Oh, and I took your advice and got my hands on Monster Kill Squad. Can't wait to read it. Collect them all. Thank you for saying that. Yeah, man. I'm glad you got your hands on a Monster Kill Squad. I actually preferred Monster Kill Squad much more than Pirate Queen, and I'll get into why. Especially Pirate Queen issue number 2. I really liked Pirate Queen issue number 1 though, but number 2 was insufferable. And we'll get to that later. But they thought they could stack them all like a short box, yeah, and then ship it out. Ooh, yeah. This is brutal. This is just such irony, I guess. Is it irony? Is it? I don't know. PRH, help me understand. I, thank you for trusting Penguin Random House with your Marvel comic book shipments. We're excited after our best class of supply chain services, direct market. We understand the value placed by you on damage free shipments and have made every best effort to select the appropriate carton and packing material for shipping comic book product to minimize damages. Bro, what is going on right now? This is a joke, right? This is a prank. Am I on pranked? Where's Ashton Kutcher? What? Okay, let me read that. Let me read that again. So this packing slip came in some of the boxes to to some of the retailers. I'm slurring my words because I'm speechless and I've had a lot of coffee. So okay, I got to read this again. We understand the value placed by something on damage-free shipments and have made every best effort to select the appropriate carton and packing material for shipping comic book product to minimize damages. Dude, what is happening right now? I'm in the upside down or I'm in the twilight zone. This is wild. Instead of what Lunar or Diamond does, side by side, which is kind of a pain to get out of the boxes safely. I think they had a good idea, but the boxes sucked. David says the only undamaged item was the letter about how great they are. Dude, that's what I'm saying. That is insane. Because the irony of this is they say that we understand the value placed by you. I think I'm trying to see what that word is, but it's cut off. Um, on damage free shipments, already wrong. 60 to 70% of all books were damaged from most comic book retailers. Then the next statement, we have made every best effort to select the appropriate carton. No, that's wrong. The appropriate carton was not, we have seen some of the boxes and they do not fit some of the comic books. They're either too large or too small to where they are stuffed in there or to where they have way too much wiggle room to where they are sliding around and getting rubbed on all the edges and ripping from that rubbing. Because if you're Marvel, you pretty much use toilet paper to publish your comic books on. You don't use like you don't use a nice cardstock material. You essentially use toilet paper, and so any type of rubbing is going to rip that cover, no matter what you do to it. So we have let's see. So we have that. So we have two things that are already just wrong, just flat out wrong. Appropriate carton and packing material for shipping comic book product. So I'll do the packing material. No packing material. What no one, not one retailer has seen packing material. When I think of packing material, I think of like paper, like some type of newspaper or like a sketch paper or something that you can crumble up and kind of put around the comic books to allow them to, you know, stay safely in place, or like craft paper. That's what I'm thinking of. Or you have bubble wrap, styrofoam, like, you know, holders to keep the books in place. Like anything would have been better than just putting books in a box and then just shipping it. Like, because that's essentially what these all have seen. So no packing material, but they said that they've put packing material on these for shipping comic book product to minimize damages. Who minimize damages? Well, you minimized them to about, you know, being able to sell about 20 to 30% of what people have actually been getting. So that's I guess, I mean, it's better than 100% damages. So I guess that's minimizing that. Sure. Um the art right. Welcome, welcome. Always good to see you here, man. Was that written using Google Translate? uh gosh, I'm not sure. I think it was a generic, it was probably just one of their generic, like, let's just post this, let's just put this in here, whether it's comics or books or novels or whatever. This is normally what we put, so we'll just, you know, put that. Yeah, best in class. Right, right, right. Sure. Yeah, we'll go with that. Best in class. Gosh, this is wild. So these are some, and you guys can look at this this article as well, but these are some retailers that actually have spoken out about this. And they said, had a worse experience telling Bleeding Cool we received our books today crammed in incredibly tiny boxes that had zero protection from the rigors of shipping. Literally 70% of our books were damaged. I can only imagine how things went industry wide. It seems that these guys think that they can ship comics like they ship other novels. Yeah, like what we've been saying, to bookstores and everything will be fine. Let's see. Posted, thankfully, ours were okay. Okay, good. But 3 pieces of tape, no protection, and given how thin the boxes are, in no way, shape, or form will they stand up to holiday shipping. Ooh, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, for the holiday, for when the holidays start coming up, Marvel's going to be shipping out stuff that people are going to want to see, want to get. Jeffrey Connolly. Somehow, by some miracle, ours were okay, but man, it will not take much to have almost everything be damaged. This one came undamaged too, thankfully. Okay, those are good. Okay, this one seems bad. Diamonds had their shipping problems, but never anything like this. We got one box filled with basically kindling, one box that we'd never find acceptable from Diamond or Lunar, but in this case are reluctantly considering good enough. God, that is depressing. Good enough just to have some product. And according to the website, there's a third box of some pretty major books, Immortal Hulk 50, Star Wars, and others that they haven't even bothered to ship out yet. Whew, just a disaster. Well, I did not expect to go into so much depth. Yeah, this is really sad for shops, for retailers, for a lot of for buyers, everything. It's tough to see, and we were really hoping for like this should have been their like claim to fame. This should have been like, look at how great we are. This should have been their Hail Mary, like or their opening week, like I don't know the right analogy for it, but they dropped the ball on their first week, and first impressions mean a whole lot. I mean, think about when you go out on a date, think about when you meet a colleague, like a business colleague or something for the first time. First impressions are huge. Some people would argue they are everything. So for this to be their first impression is scary. And they might be able to change as much as they want, but they're going to have to make some severe changes that's going to cost them tons of money to do that, because now they're going to have to get shipping and packing material. So whether that's bubble wrap or craft paper or styrofoam or like the little styrofoam peanuts that they put in boxes. I don't know, but all that stuff costs money. And if Marvel was looking to save money, they're going to be right back where they started, because now not only do they have all these damaged books, but now they're going to have to reevaluate their entire rest of the year of how they're going to ship these things. Frank says, well, Immortal Hulk 50 has an estimated ship date of 10/13 anyway. Okay, well, that's good. But I bet they are super nervous since this is supposed to be a big book. Absolutely. I mean, I know Marvel is going to be doing. They're going to have a couple incentive variants that are homages to classic, like ASM 15, Hulk 181, ASM 300. They're going to do all these like homage covers, and I think it's going to be within the next coming months. And so if that's the case, if any of those come back damaged, who's going to buy those? Because those are specifically for speculators and specifically for collectors. Like if I want an homage cover of Hulk 181, which I do, well, Hulk 181 is epic and debatable whether it's the first appearance of Wolverine. 100% the first cover appearance of Wolverine, that's for sure. But if I want a Hulk 181 homage cover, am I going to want to hang that behind me if it's got a freaking huge rip in it? I don't know. Just stuff to consider. So David said, but they designed these cartons specifically for this use. Yeah. Yeah. How could they fail? How could they fail? This was specifically made for comic books. So yeah. Ken, this is great content, bro. I have to bounce though. Kiddo's bedtime. Keep up the good work. Ken, it is always a pleasure. Thank you for being here, brother. Send my love, all my love to you and the family. Go put the kids to bed, and yeah, enjoy the rest of your week, man. Thank you again. Um, Frank, not first appearance in my opinion. And you know what, Frank? I think you're right. I would agree. I think first appearance is Hulk 180. Let's have a debate in the comment section or in the chat. Uh, yes, McKenna's like, finally something. Thank God, it's something I finally know is Wolverine. Please talk more about this. Um, so yeah, Frank, I agree, man. I think 180 is first appearance, and I think 181 is first cover appearance and second appearance of Wolverine. But 181 is, God, that cover, dude, with the reds and like just how Wolverine is like flying through the air. That is, God, it hurts. It hurts not knowing, or it hurts knowing I may never have my hands on that book. It is so awesome, and it's only going up in price. Um, oh wait, you disagree? Uh, oh, so you disagree that that Hulk 181 is the first Wolverine cover appearance, or his second appearance? Because I think, oh, okay, well, yeah, tell me. I'm interested now. Collect 'em all says definitely 180. McKenna, yeah, exactly. Wolverine, you can't go wrong with talking about Wolverine. Come on. Collect them all. I can imagine shops buying 100 comics to get that 1-in-100 ratio, and then it gets damaged. Yeah, man. That's the thing is like these ratio variants cost shops a ton of money. And then if you get those 100 comics, like King Spawn, right? King Spawn, people were buying like 250 for the retailer or for the incentive variant or whatever. The 250, I want to say. So now people have these King Spawn books just in their warehouse, or they're just throwing them away because they're utterly worthless now. But if one of those 250 incentive variants came back damaged, or any of the books that came back damaged prior to that, it's an interesting, yeah, it's an interesting thought to think about what that's going to do with ratio books for sure. Um, Foom number 2 is his first appearance period. Interesting. I will have to look into that, man. Fing Fang Foom, from Thor? I don't know if I know Foom number 2. Okay, I'm looking that up. Um, Havoc versus Wolverine Meltdown chat. Oh, you know what? That is on my, list of books to read. I have that one on my Kindle, or on my, tablet or whatever. I would love to see, uh, David, it's on. Let's see. Ric Flair is the man. Week 2 of asking MVP to read me a Spawn bedtime story. You know what? Do I have Spawn here? I don't think, my man, I don't think I have Spawn anywhere near me. I'm so sorry, Roller. I failed you again. I failed you once again. Can I read you, let's see. Can I read you a Sumerian story for bed? Because the Sumerian is, in my opinion, the best Conan book we have had in ages, since like 1975 Conan, that wasn't even being published by Marvel. It was still in like the black and white like magazine publishing. That's my Conan. Foom number 2 from 1973. Look it up. All right. I feel like I'm doing a disservice um because I haven't haven't taken an opportunity to like look into this. Um and I am looking at some images right now. Let me go ahead and share this for you guys so that we can go on this journey together. Okay. Let's see. Foom number 2, Wolverine. Try that. Is this the panel? Is that what y'all are talking about? I don't see him. Or is he? Let's see. Oh, this is kind of interesting. You guys are gonna have to help me out because I'm not sure. Okay, here's a bleeding cool. Yeah, I'm not. So there, I guess the Wolverine character has some kind of healing ability, or maybe a metal skeleton on her skin, something, and a tiger stripe on his face. So is this? Oh, interesting. Now we're talking. Okay. Yeah, Frank Sumerian has been great. Um, I don't know why I never see any of them. Dude, you know what? Frank, check this out. I found these two today, actually. I'm gonna boom, make myself big real quick. How dope are these covers? Holy moly. These are so rad. Oop. Uh, the Sumerian People of the Black Circle. These covers are so rad, dude. I found 2 and 3. I'm gonna look for number 1 tomorrow. But yeah, the Sumerian stuff has been fantastic, dude. So rad. Roller, sounds good, but I've already dug myself into a hole. Oh, sorry, man. I apologize. I'll have some spawn. I'll have some spawn next time. Next time. Let me see. Am I blurry? I feel like I'm out of focus. Let's see. So that's the prototype panel. He looks different, but he is labeled Wolverine. Interesting. First Wolverine prototype sketch. That is first origin, and in my opinion, the first appearance of Wolverine. Uh, yeah, dude, the number 2 is beautiful. I had a hard, and you know what? The interesting thing is, number 2, you can't really like on the secondary market. I tried finding number 2 like on eBay, and people have already brought it up to like $15 or $20 or something. And I got it for cover price today because I was like, I was able to find it. Um, but if you look on like my comic shop or Midtown Comics, they don't have number 2. They have number 1, but I could not find this anywhere on the secondary market. So I was thankful I was able to kind of look through and find it. But that number 2 is hot, super hot. Maybe you're blurry. Maybe we're all eating edibles. I wish I were eating some right now. No, I'm kidding. I've never actually had any, so you guys are gonna have to tell me what that's like. Let's see. So yeah, the Wolverine. As far as let's go back to sharing the old screen here. This is really interesting. I'm gonna look more into this because can we claim, because if this is the Wolverine, that we know and love, it says by Andy Olson. I want to look and see who the actual let's see, initially designed and edited by Jim Steranko. It's intended to represent a fan voice for Marvel, but nothing that might frighten the horses. No fanfic of Cyclops or Professor X here. Interesting. Yeah, man. I'm gonna look into this more. Because that would be really, really interesting to either get my hands on a Foom number 2, maybe for less price, or try and get my hands on the 181, which is the cover, and save up my entire life savings, because that's pretty much essentially what I would have to do if I wanted a Hulk 181, is just save up for the entire rest of my life and buy even just a 2.0, CGC or CBCS. Gosh, they're getting so expensive now, man. Oh, it's the first origin too. Okay. All right. Yeah, McKenna's laughing at my dumb edibles joke. Let's play a little something here. And unfortunately, Ken had to leave, but I know he's been wanting that chill beats, some stream beats, and some chill hop. I know that is a classic for people. And it's a good chill vibe. David says, does anyone else have a spreadsheet listing out their collection, or am I just that guy? You know what, David? I was going through some of mine earlier this week, and I'm thinking about doing it. Because when you have that spreadsheet, you know exactly what you have at that point. You can physically see and look at all that. If she were a comic book collector, I 100% know she would have an Excel sheet. She would have a Google Doc, and she would probably have some sort of like planning journal or something to find out when the next books were going to be released and where she would put them in the Excel sheet. Because she is a planner. She's good at it too. Very, very good at it. But I guarantee you, if she were a comic book collector, I think she would have multiple Excel sheets, all that good stuff. I can neither confirm nor deny. You said it all. You said it all right there. Collect them all. I have my entire collection archived on Pinterest. Oh, that's cool, man. That's a great. You know what? That's a great idea. I like that a lot. Photos of all the UPC codes. Check out Comic Realm. Yeah. Yeah. So Comic Realm, Frank, is that the app that allows you to have all of your comic books listed out that you can like actually look through? Because for a lot of collectors, for those of you who don't know, like when you have such a large collection, you really have to see, if like right now I'm in the middle of collecting the Silver Surfer, 1987 run. And so I've got issue 1 through like 32. But the thing is like after 32 issues, like I don't know, was it 32 or was it 33? Or maybe it's saying issue 14 out of 32. It's like little things like that. I know my Hawkman run, I'm missing issue 25, because that's just imprinted into my brain now. I really want that one. So just stuff like that. I think comic. Oh, okay. So the website is Comic Realm. Cool. So there are apps though I know that you can actually utilize and like look through your phone. So say if you're like at a convention and you're dollar bin digging and you're looking through some long boxes and you're like, oh, do I have this one or not? I have thousands of books at home. How am I actually going to like determine that or not? So I know the apps can be helpful, but sometimes you have to pay for them. And I don't know about like, it's like you've already paid for your comics. So then you're paying for an app to tell you what comics you bought. I don't know. Frank says, but it's kind of like the Wikipedia of comic book ordering. Interesting. People keep it updated with all the comics out there. Oh, that's cool. Okay. Good to know. Good to know. See, we're all learning here. We are all collectively getting an idea of this world. And that's what's so cool is like I've been collecting now for 23 years. And it's like I still learn stuff that comes out every single day, and I still learn about new titles, new authors, new keys, new, what do you call it, illustrators, like all that stuff, and things that I can utilize for my collection. So it's really cool to know that even though I would think, oh, I've got so many years of experience, I still learn something every single one of these live streams or every time I talk to a fan of comics. And it's a very humbling experience, and I love that. I think it's so cool. David says, do you think there's any business opportunity for collector apps? Maybe marketplace, reviews, gallery, database of your collection, background details on the books, etc. I honestly have not done enough research or wouldn't know enough about those apps to see if there would be anything interesting or if it would warrant a business opportunity for a collector app. Now, Key Collector app, holy sorry, I can't. YouTube, you guys know. Key Collector is very polarizing because you've got people who are just entering the collector market and are utilizing Key Collector, and Key Collector is kind of determining what the market buys. Like, because Key Collector is essentially, Collect Them All says is the most popular, essentially. But if you go on Key Collector, each week they come out with like, these are the hot keys, or like, these are the top 10 like most priced books, or like, these are the most expensive, or these are the most speculative, or these are the, like, whatever it is. And granted, it is a really well done app. The interface is really easy to use. I've used it multiple times to look up, it's super quick. Like, I'll look up a Wolverine book, and you've got every single Wolverine series you could ever think of right there at your fingertips. So in that regard, I think it is a great tool to utilize if like you're just getting into the hobby, or you just want to know more information. Frank, Key Collector is absolutely polarizing. It can be good, but it def has its mistakes. 100%. I think the reason why it has some negative connotations to it is because of the fact that these guys who have been speculating for years, guys who've been collecting for years, those who go out to conventions, or garage sales or estate sales and try and look for these grails that are just hiding, they spend their life on some of this stuff. And then some 12-year-old kid comes around with I got a Key Collector app. What's this book? I don't know what this book is. Oh, it's ASM 15. Whoa, that's cool. Look it up on it. Key collector. Yeah, that looks cool enough. And like these speculators and collectors are like, I hate you so much. Like this, it's making. I think it's making comics like much more accessible to a younger audience and just to anyone. Like you could be 50 and starting to, maybe you're retired and you're like, yeah, I'll get into comic book collecting. Download Key Collector and boom, you're a collector now. Because like you just start looking at all these top lists and saying, all right, I'll look for that, and you just start searching around comic book shops. Let's see. They pull most of their data off eBay. Yeah, which is eBay is interesting because eBay also determines the market price for all of these books. And, depending on what someone is willing to pay for that book is determined with eBay. A book could be worth $3, but on eBay, someone puts it up for $10, $100 sometimes, and some guy gets FOMO and says, I gotta have it. And so he's gonna pay $100 for that book. And then the next week it's out for $3 again. So eBay is it's tough. It's a tough way to buy. I think to sell, you can get away with selling a lot of stuff for pretty high prices. And I don't know. Damaged Marvel books are so hot right now. You know what? No, 9.8 Marvel books, near mint Marvel books are hot right now. We were making the joke this morning. I was at my comic book shop, and I'm talking to the manager, and he and I always like just hang out for a bit before I take off. But he and I are talking, and we're looking at the books, and he's handing me my stuff, and I go, so how was your Penguin Random House shipment? And he goes, well, 25-30% damage, so not as bad as the others. And we started joking, and we were like, dude, these are going to be the new newsstand comic books. Like if we can find a 9.8 in a Penguin Random House shipment, it will be worth thousands of dollars. Like this week, if I found a 9.8 Penguin Random House Marvel book, I would put it up on eBay for $1,000. You know what I mean? Because they're just not out there. Like how many books would be that have been so damaged that there's not going to be anywhere near even a 9.6, maybe nowhere near that. So we were just making the joke of like, how much would a near mint copy of a Penguin Random House Marvel book go for right now, like today, this week? Zach says, so the key is self-fulfilling, smart, possibly shady. It is of ASM 300. They can then say ASM 300 is like super hot right now with the new Venom movie. Like everyone go out and get ASM 300 because it's like, it's only going to go up in price because Venom's in the MCU now. So they can technically self-fulfill what products they want to push. Damn kids and their smartphones. Boom, that's how I'll take over. McKenna, it's out there. You might as well download the app, and I don't know, maybe you can be the next huge collector. Frank says, I think I'm very biased about Key Collector because the keys they have, especially the Punisher keys, I must say are all bulls. Interesting. Now, so yeah, because the keys that they have, like you're saying, are just determined by some guy, just some dude. So it's not like they have a verified, okay, like CGC. I am a verified and learned and taught grader. This is my job. This is my career. I grade for a living. There's a lot of bias there too. They could have a really bad day at work and all of a sudden they're grading 9.2s instead of 9.8s. So that's also very subjective. But if you have an objective view of this is a key, this is not a key, then Key Collector would actually probably do more positive than negative. I don't know. That's the eBay 1 of 1 problem for collecting. Yep. Perfect. I got all my Marvel in this week and had no damages. Oh, dude, excellent. Hey, well then you are going to be rolling rolling in some dough then, my friend, because those 9/8s in Penguin Random House are going to be rough. Rebellion expeditions to a comic shop. When? You know what, David? We're actually, McKenna and I were talking about either we do we do a stream on like comics for normies, where we kind of go over like, hey, what are some questions that normies would have about collecting, like when they're first starting off, and have McKenna kind of ask those questions, and chat can help, and I can help answer those questions. Or I was going to send her to a comic shop and go pick up this, this, and this, or whatever. Read those. Those are your homework, and then come back and we'll talk about each one of them. So, what would you like to see? I know McKenna was a huge hit last week, or this week. Crap, my mind's gone. But yeah, McKenna was she goes anytime. Hell yeah. Yeah, McKenna, honestly, you were no one wants to see my ugly face on here anymore. They're like, bring McKenna back. When are we gonna get McKenna? So I do need you on here. So we just need to determine what is going to be best. So Zach says, does CGC even swap out the books? Is that a thing? So CGC can swap out books, meaning like, say I have a case. So like up here, I don't know if you guys can see, these are graded comics at the top shelf. So if one of those graded comics gets like damaged, so like say the case gets cracked in during shipping, or I don't know, they have all those Newton rings, all the oily Newton rings on the front cover of the actual seal, anything like that CGC might have affected those grading slabs, you can then send it back in and they will re-slab it for you. And I think they have to regrade it though. So that's the only thing that hesitates me, or that is a hesitancy to send those books back, if you have an issue with, because like I have a Superman up here. It's the Superman 233, Kryptonite Nevermore. And it's an old CGC slab. So it doesn't match like the new, really crisp, nice looking CGC slab. But if I want to get the new model of the new CGC slab, I'd have to send it back in, which I have to pay for shipping. They would slab it in the new label and the new case and all that stuff. But I think they have to grade it, which means that I don't know if it would come back the same grade, which worries me. I don't know. It was so much fun. Glad to hear it. I think we had a blast. David, this is true. You got a face for radio. Hey, you know what? My face got smashed in way too many times in football in the Marine Corps. Of course, it's going to look like a radio face. Yeah, no, Zax agrees. I am not wrong. McKenna was fantastic to have on. And then I would be so nervous sending something out, right? Yeah, man, it would be weird to send something out and potentially risk losing the grade that you already have. Now, most of the time I hear they come back the same grade. They don't really come back better, obviously, but they normally come back as the same grade. If not, maybe just a little bit worse. Not sure, but well, it's already an hour and 20 minutes into this thing. Let me just go over what I picked up this week and see what you guys think. And we will start with boom, Nice House on the Lake. Since I have it here, this has been this series. If this were like a Twilight Zone series on like Netflix or something, or if Rod Serling made Nice House on the Lake when he did with Twilight Zone back in the day, like black and white, I would be so in. I would watch that thing 24/7, nonstop, replay as much as I possibly could, because the ideas in Nice House on the Lake are really creative. There's an exorbitant amount, though, of really insufferable characters. And I'm wondering if Tinian is doing that on purpose, or if he's doing that because that's just his writing style, how he wants to write these characters. Like, well, I guess on purpose is Is he writing them insufferably on purpose because we're going to see them die and it's going to be like a good payoff at the end? Or is he writing them insufferably because that's just how he wants to write them, but he thinks that they aren't as bad? I don't know. It's brutal to kind of go through this. We got some new faces coming in right now. No Void, what's up, dude? Great to see you here. And Salmon, what is up, guys? Thank you so much for stopping in and glad to see you here. Always glad to have you guys here. David said it's totally safe to send out. We have the best in class supply chain, custom comic specific cartons. Yeah, yeah. That sounds familiar. I wonder where we heard that one before. Penguin Random House. Cough, cough. Hint, hint. Wink, wink. So yeah, I don't know. So this is issue 5, and I'm not going to give up on the series yet because I think Tinian has a larger plan for this. I think he has a really well thought out plan. I hope, and he loves doing horror. Like his stuff is horror genre, not so much superhero stuff. So even though he's been writing Batman, his passion and I think his heart is more for horror comics. So which makes me it gives me more hope for this one because I'm more inclined to believe that he has a whole storyline thought out and a whole story arc planned for each one of these characters. And if not, and he just kills them all, even better. Because like I said, it's brutal. It's like some of the dialogue is really cringy, and it just makes you the characters aren't characters, they are caricatures of themselves. So it's not like, oh, I'm a very in-depth character who has a lot of character development and who actually has a purpose or going through struggle or like whatever it is. They are caricatures, meaning they are like cartoon aspects of themselves. So there's like one guy in here who his whole trait, his whole quality is just the comedian. So he's just like the funny guy. So he makes like snarky, sarcastic quips here and there. And that's like his character. That's just who he is. And it's so hard to read at times because it's like no one would say that. So the dialogue is a little cringy, but if you can get over that and you can look at the big picture and see, man, this is really creepy. The visuals are really creepy. The ideas in here, and that's the thing, is the ideas are what stick with you. Like if these were in different hands, I think the ideas would really shine through more so than the characters. But right now the characters are just kind of, I don't know, they're ruining it for me. But like I said, hey, if they freaking get axed, if we get a Jason treatment or a Freddy treatment or a Halloween, Michael Myers, if we get a treatment like that where they just are shredded by the end of this 12 issue series, like that'd be pretty rad. It would be pretty cool to see how that happens. But all right, next I'll go with let's do Out. So Out is an interesting one. You guys probably did not hear about Out. It is from AWA Upshot, which is it's one of the other publishers, not Marvel, not DC, not Dark Horse, not IDW, none of those. AWA Upshot has actually been coming out with some really hot books as of recently. But this was kind of a random one, and you would when I read the solicitation, I was like, this is going to be out there. It is going to be insane. And to my surprise, it was. It actually, I don't know if it lived up to the hype, but it did make me want to go back to issue or keep collecting so that I could read issue 2. Essentially, the story goes is that it takes place in 1944 Germany. So it's during during World War II, and the Nazis have. Can I say that word on YouTube? I hope I can. If I can't, I just screwed myself over. Anyway, the German bad guys in this book, as you can see, they have captured some American soldiers and have taken them to a castle in their this castle fortress to hold them as prisoners of war. Now, during this time, instead of the prisoners just kind of giving in and saying, "Well, we'll just wait for the war to end," I guess, we'll just sit here and kind of rot away. There's nothing we can do. These soldiers start to kind of coming together and banding together to find a way out, find a way to escape, and dig through underground out through this, castle fortress that these guys have taken them there. Yeah, Yahtzee works. We'll go with Yahtzee. Yahtzee, unspecified virus of unknown origin. That is one of the best drinker titles. Drinker has he's got the message, and he's also got unspecified virus of unknown origins. Both of those, oh god, he keys some incredible, really, really funny, verbiage. So yeah, we'll call them Yahtzees for now. So these Yahtzees, not only have they taken our American soldiers and put them into this fortress, but they are now experimenting with a vampire. And so the vampire, like I said, this gets wild. So the vampire is now essentially being woken up by the Yahtzees because they're like, this is our last resort. The allies are on our front doorstep. The allies are invading our homeland and are going to win. How are we going to get the upper hand? Can we release this vampire on the allies? And if we do, can we control it? And so they begin to, hey, what's up, dude? Hail, brightest day. One of my favorite dudes on YouTube. Once again, congrats on 400 subs. That is super rad. Yeah, Zach cracks me up every time, right? So yeah, anyway, like I was saying, it gets wild because you would never think in this World War II, very dark, very serious, and gritty setting, you would never think that they're gonna go, hey, let's put a vampire in there, But I read the afterword from the author, and I guess what he was saying is that he really wanted to kind of get the vibe of like an Alien or like The Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing, where you feel like you're locked in this place with this creature and there's no hope of getting out, and so you have to try and escape from whatever that thing is that is just terrorizing everyone in there. So I will say this: I'm very interested to see what happens in issue 2. Issue 1 was good; it was good. The artwork is beautiful, but I will say more when I read issue 2, because we really only got to see the vampire in the last panel of the book. Spoilers. So yeah, it's a 5-issue miniseries. We'll see where it goes. Yahtzee Vampire Cheerleaders from Outer Space needs to be produced. I'd watch it. I'd read it. You had me at cheerleaders. No, I'm kidding. All right. Pirate Queen from Bad Idea. I couldn't even get past page 2. I'll be honest. Yes, Null Void. This was from AWA Upshot, which was the publisher, and Out. It is called Out. Just very simply, it is written by Rob Williams and illustrated by Will Conrad. You know what? I would say if you guys can find it, pick it up. It might be an interesting read, and something that you guys maybe. Well, of course, because it's World War II era, and most of the characters are allies. It is cool to see their tenacity because they kind of have this thought process of like, hey, we're prisoners of war, but like, screw that. We're not going to stay here. We're going to find a way out, and we're going to, go back to our battalion or find our guys, and we're going to go win this war. We're not just going to sit here and wait till the war's over. So yeah, cool, interesting outlook. I know, collect them all, dude. I couldn't do it, man. I could not. Let me read this. However, collect them all. I will tell you, the short story in the back of Pirate Queen was why I bought this book. That like I want I want a series. I want a 12 issue series of just that story in the back. I was over the moon at the story in the back of this issue, and it was only like 5 pages. Um, collect them all. I agree. The first issue was super good. You really felt for our main, our protagonist here. You felt for her, and you really had this kind of now bond to see her and her journey of like revenge. You know what I mean? So I agree with you, man. I really did like issue one, but then issue two, it just the second page, dude, it's already belittling you as a reader, as a man, as a person. She goes, most men are, in my experience, fools. Uh, and let's see. And then she starts saying like, um, most men underestimate women, especially if she's with child. We're gentle, we're delicate, a thing to be protected, pitied, and patronized. And it's like, oh my god, platitudes, empty platitudes. It's like again with like more of this like, okay, we get it. Bad men are bad, women good. And don't get me wrong, I love um oh, David. Yeah, man, get back into it if you want to. I mean, I'm not going to force you guys to do anything. But if you can, I think there's some good little ones that you can find that are still hot, I said that in my video. Oh, they should do a one shot of all the short stories. Got a creep show and Twilight Zone feel, right? Dude, okay, collect them all. I'll have to go watch your latest video then because yeah, I would love to hear what you said about that short story because I loved, and the artwork in the short story was even better than, in my opinion, the main story of Pirate Queen. Um, yeah, this artwork in the in that front panel was incredible. Really did a great job. Even the coloring and just the story was so much more creative in my opinion. Like I said, um, I'm not trying to, not trying to polarize anyone, but in my opinion, like I said, I got through the 2 or 3 pages of Pirate Queen, and if a comic makes me feel bad about myself, if a comic book makes me start feeling like I'm the bad guy, I don't want to read it. So thankfully, I read the story in the back though, because if I didn't, I wouldn't have found that dope ass story. That thing was way better than the entire thing. Um, okay, we talk about Bad Idea a lot, and Pirate Queen and Lucky Devil. Lucky Devil was great. Yeah, I did read the first issue. Um, I didn't have the same pull I got from Pirate Queen, or same pull I got from like Monster Kill Squad, stuff like that from Bad Idea. But I do think Lucky Devil is in a good spot. I think they've got a good thing going for them. So, speaking of Bad Idea, picked up The Lot as well. Um, full disclosure, I have not read any of The Lot. I've been reading all the other Bad Idea titles, but I have not read The Lot yet. They are just sitting in my back issue bin, just waiting to be read. I don't know. I don't know why. I haven't had the time nor the interest to like go in and really like dig in and start reading those. So Salmon, all right, that's it for me, folks. Just stopped in to say hi. Have a great night, everybody. Dude, have a great week. Have a great night. Thank you for stopping by. It's always a pleasure. My Chris Pratt stunt double. Thank you for supporting. Yeah, man, appreciate you stopping by. Then this one. So this one is a little bit. Well, not a little bit, but this is actually really niche. Um, it is published and produced by Antarctic Press, which is it's totally different than a lot of other publishers. Um, but this is Death by Life issue 6. Um, and these have been surprisingly really, really cool. Very hard to find. If you can order them through your local comic shop, I would recommend doing so, or going onto the website, the Antarctic Press website, where I think you can still get issue 1. But Death by Life is essentially Death, the Grim Reaper, has been cast out to a life on Earth. So he is now living the rest of his days on Earth, and has kind of lost his mojo or his purpose of like taking lives. So it's an interesting take on the thought process of death and life. So I've really been liking it. The artwork is really cool, and the writing is good. So far, the writing hasn't been cringy. It's not been preachy at all, and the story is, it's not timely, it's timeless. Things that are timely are only of this time period and will get lost in the annals of history, because no one everyone will look back and go, well, that was a snapshot in history. But this seems to be a little bit more timeless, where you know people will look back and go, man, that was a cool little run. Kind of different, a little bit more odd, but yeah, still fun. And these covers are super hot as well. They look fantastic. Then I will go over these two. I think I kind of showed these ones off a little bit earlier. And these are actually books that came out back in, I want to say 2020, 2019. But the Sumerian series has been one of the best Conan series I have read to date, since reading the 1975 Conan magazine series that wasn't even published by Marvel. And speaking of which, the newest book that came out today is The Sumerian, and it's a new story called Beyond the Black River. And each time, the artwork does not let you down. The story doesn't let you down. Conan is unabashedly the Conan of old, the savage, animalistic, brutal, just killer that we think of when we see Conan, or that we think of Conan. And the cool thing about it is that these aren't just stories that are kind of made up in some factory or whatever. These are all stories that are taken from the Robert E. Howard novels back in 1935, which were from Weird Tales. And if you look at the back of the issue, you'll actually see the excerpts that are taken from those little pulp novels. So the whole back of the issue is just that, which is so much different than anything I've read. And it's great to know that these are coming from actual novels and like actual authors and writers back in the 30s that were writing about how they envisioned Conan to be, and now they're just putting it into a picture form with these comics. So, well, it looks like it is past an hour and a half. We only have a few more people watching, and so I won't take any more of y'all's time. We will go ahead and start wrapping things up. But that was pretty much everything I picked up this week. Thank you guys again for sticking with me. That whole first hour, I want to say, was literally just talking about Penguin Random House. That was wild. So thank you guys for coming along with me and listening and interacting. I can't tell you how much more fun this is when I get to interact with you guys and see what y'all are saying, and so it's always a great time to have you guys here and get your thoughts on all this stuff. So next week, same time, same place, we will do this Wednesday. If you guys, like I said, have any other suggestions for me, please let me know either in the chat or in the comments. And as I said at the beginning of this video, I normally try not to, I try to normally stray away from the whole subscribe, like, share, all that stuff. But if you guys do feel inclined to do so, please share this channel, these videos out there with other people, because this is something that is not only my passion, but I know a lot of other people's passion. And I think as this fellowship grows, more and more people will come to uh, like these other channels that are slowly growing. And so I would be honored to be a part of that fellowship as we see a lot of these channels grow. So like I said, if you guys feel comfortable and if you are willing to do so, share this out there, like it, and if you haven't done so already, subscribe. And I think that should be it. Collect them all. Peace, my man. Thank you for stopping by. um all right, guys, it's been a pleasure. Always good seeing y'all. Thanks again. Have a great rest